Welcome to the Path Forward Utah. I'm Jamie Renda, and I have some great friends around me tonight. And we've kind of went through a tough election, and so after the election, we're like, how do we move forward? And we've done a lot of brainstorming, and we came together, and we each bring something to the table that's going to help us move forward. So I'm going to start with Dr. Marcy. Let her introduce herself and what you're bringing to the table in the Path Forward Utah.
Sure, thank you, Jamie. My name is Dr. Marcy Campbell, and Jamie has asked if I would take a day on Wednesdays, 10 to 11 a.m., and talk about how we can strengthen our mental health. As many of you know, 2020 and now into 2021, there's quite a bit of concern, and people are really struggling all across the country, the world, and even here in the state of Utah. A lot of mental health concerns, and my goal is to be able to help people out, and more specifically, to help people become aware of things that are challenges in terms of mental health, and also what you can do about it. I love being a problem and solution-focused a doctor working in the field of mental health. So my hope is that you'll join me on Wednesdays 10 to 11, and let's see what we can do to help you and your relationships.
Marcy's also going to help us when we have legislation that impacts mental health or has mental health related, like HB 92. Dr. Marcy.
HB 92. My field is, much of my field has been in child development and research and recognizing with HB 92, and it was the bill, and I hate to be the one that's the particulars on it because I feel like that's your
Well, no, he's going to go into all kinds of good stuff.
My concern about it was the knowledge of brain development in young children and synaptic connections that are not able to be fully developed prior to the decision of having children make the choice, or parents for the children make the choice of transgender, transition in terms of puberty blockers or surgery. And so young children are still in the state of fantasy, half reality, and that happens all through adolescence. And so my concern is making those type of decisions is the wrong time.
So anyway, thank you, Dr. Marcy. Now we have Ignacio, if you'll introduce yourself.
Absolutely. My name is Ignacio Valdez, and I am with Latinos for Trump. I've been a Trump supporter for many years, since I came here to the United States back in 2003, actually. It was my first year, and then I met Donald Trump with this show called The Apprentice.
You met him? Like face to face?
Well, I wish.
Oh, okay.
But I will be with my friend Jamie on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. We'll be in this radio talk show, and I will go ahead and share a lot of experiences and in relationships with the Latino community and the Republican Party as far as conservatism in the United States. So that will be my role, and I will be super happy to show everybody how well connected the Hispanic community is with conservatism. Because as Hispanics, we are family-oriented, we are hard workers, and we are entrepreneurs by nature. So being an entrepreneur myself, it is fantastic to line up with the wonderful conservative perspective. So my name is Ignacio Valdez. I am Hispanic, I'm a Republican, and I'm an American.
Awesome.
I love that. That's right. We're all Americans. That's why we're here.
And my good friend, Ryan Woods, and
Hello.
he is normally Lady MAGA USA.
Well, I don't know how normal you can call doing that.
Okay.
But yes, hello everyone. It's such an honor to be a part of this podcast series. My name is Ryan Woods. I am a drag artist, otherwise known as a drag queen. And I have spent coming up on 2 years standing up against LGBTQIA radicalism. And when I say LGBTQIA radicalism, I'm talking about what I call the rainbow plantation, which is the idea that if you happen to be gay or LGBT, that you have to align with the Democrats. You have to believe that young children should be injected with dangerous hormone blockers. You have to believe that transgender surgeries, which are essentially castration and other dramatic procedures, are okay for children. So there are hundreds of thousands of American LGBT people just like me who have walked away, so to speak. One of our great inspirations, of course, is Richard Grinnell, who worked in the Trump administration And it was the Make America Great Again movement, which is why I'm wearing this hat, that brought us all together. So what I'll contribute to this podcast is just common sense, all-American perspectives that happen to come from a gay person. Because so many people out there believe that Republicans hate gay people, and that the LGBTQIA++ community is under attack by conservatives or people like Pastor Jesse, who happens to be religious. This is just categorically false. The true persecution and the true hatred is actually directed at Trump supporters and people of faith. And so I want to counterbalance a lot of the radical voices right here in Utah, such as Equality Utah and the Pride Center, because they have our capital in the palm of their hand, and they threaten and intimidate and harass people who go against their mainstream Democrat, communist, socialist narrative. So I'm here to just have those conversations and hopefully expand the LGBT conservative all-American movement here in Utah.
Awesome. So I'm Jamie Renda. Many of you know that I've had this incredible, adorable character called the Trump Tater all throughout this past year. And Lady Maga and I would be at all the different Trump rallies and open business rallies. And anyway, I missed my little character. The program was named the Trump Tater. Now we're shifting. It's going to be the Path Forward Utah. And I brought incredible people together that all give a balance of what we're going to need if we're going to be successful at moving legislation, at bringing new people into the Republican Party. And one of the things I'd like to say about Ryan is his openness to religious freedom, that he doesn't expect somebody who has deep religious values to change their religious values, just to have respect for him in his way of life. And not even respect, just
diversity and tolerance has to go both ways.
Yeah.
Someone's constitutional religious freedoms do not end where my feelings begin. It has to go both ways.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot of different things we're going to be coming together on. So Bob and I did a podcast together during the election on whether we wanted Huntsman or Hughes and who would be better for governor. But I think I know who was right on that, because we ended up getting stuck with Cox. So anyway, Bob, introduce yourself and what you do.
Thanks, Jamie. I'm Bob McEntee. I'm the political guy, and I've been a lot of things in the Republican Party here in Utah. A precinct chair, a state delegate, a county delegate, a ledge chair. I've been on the executive committee of the Republican Party, which is as high as you can go without being like the chair or the vice chair, those guys. So I know the inner workings. I've seen how the sausage is made, and people tell you stuff, right? A lot of people tell you stuff. So I learned what's going on, and I met Jamie and Marcy, Dr. Marcy, during the tax referendum, where we pushed back and said, no, don't do 250% raise on the food tax. That's a bad idea, guys. And normally they're my team, right? Normally we get behind the Republicans. I've been a conservative since Reagan. When Reagan explains it, it sounds really good. You should go listen to Ronald Reagan on YouTube. And then we saw that brought back by Donald Trump. He has the same conservative values. Protect what you love, protect your country, protect its border, have a national defense. So we just unite on these things. And I talk about the politics, the bills, and also the people. And philosophy is very important. Sometimes we just get in this slugfest, but you need to know, Ronald Reagan said, conservatism is doing what works. And it's what works long term. This $1.9 trillion spending package, you can't keep that up, right? So we want to do stuff that works on all these levels. Mentally, mental health, do what works, right? For the Latinos, do what works. They're very practical people, right? I mean, they get the job done. That's why they're here. A gay conservative has to stand out and kind of cut through that water. It's hard to make the way ahead, but he's right. The other side, they preach tolerance, but we don't see a two-way street. We need to see that. So I will focus in on the politics, and my pet project, we need to harden the grid. I was an Air Force officer. I'll throw out title. Major McEntee is a war planner, pilot navigator, but war planners by far the most rare. And I learned about the Achilles heel of our national defense is if an EMP strikes us, we're done. We don't have electricity for years. If I was going to hit the United States, that's what I would do. So I talk about Utah needs to harden its grid. Greg Hughes was very much behind. Yes, if we need to do that. Let's have Utah lead and do it. And I'm still hopeful we will. We had that problem in Texas. The grid went down. You don't want that. So, Jamie, I'm glad you give us a voice and glad to be part of the team.
Well, I just want to clarify, I love Greg Hughes. And it was tough I just was nervous about Spencer Cox getting in there. And unfortunately, that's kind of what's happened. But Greg Hughes or John Huntsman, I wished we had either one for governor right now.
We work with who we have.
Yeah. But
What
anyway,
we work against who we have.
so we saved the best for last, Pastor Jesse. What I love about Pastor Jesse, I'm going to let him tell you this too. He is the biggest believer in President Donald J. Trump and just loves President Trump. And also Pastor Jesse is living the kind of the motto I came up with for the Path Forward Utah. And that motto is that we need to be the best people that we can be. And we need to try to be out there doing the most good that we can do. So Pastor Jesse, if you'll introduce yourself and what you do and how much you love President Trump.
Folks call me Pastor Jesse. We have a group of amazing volunteers, a group of amazing servers. We meet at the park here, the municipal park. It's also called Christmas Village. We meet there year-round. We meet there on Sundays as well as Saturdays. Sunday tends to be our biggest day. Normally, prior to the pandemic lockdown, we were feeding during the summer approximately 250 to close to 300 people every Sunday. But again, the people that really makes that work are our very valued volunteers and servers. One of the things that we really push is the fact that all of our people that we serve, that we feed, we also give clothing, tents, jackets, coats, sleeping bags, things that folks who are living out in the elements would need to have. So I think the biggest thing that our volunteers and our servers provide is they let our people know in the park who are, a lot of them are homeless, a lot of them are destitute, a lot of them are struggling, but a lot of what our volunteers bring to the table is the fact that they let our folks in the park know that they're cared for, that they're loved, and that this is not the end of the road. That for them, many of our people that we deal with are very bright, they're very smart, they just happen to fall on hard times. And so many times we have seen them get up on their feet and become good producing members of society. And obviously, when you see that happening, there is a spillover in terms of when you come to a point to where you're actually able to fend for yourself, if you will. Now our people are looking for viable candidates to vote for. And obviously, we want them to vote for the candidate of their choice. And we really encourage them to get to know the person whom they're going to vote for, and that they vote according to the dictates of their heart. And so we feel that the best candidate is a candidate that will truly stand by his words and meet the needs of our community. And I think that's the one lesson that we've been able to share with our folks who are in the park, who are ultimately getting on their feet and who are ultimately becoming a good producing member of society. And as Jamie has said, I am a Trump fan.
So anyway, we all loved and loved President Trump, and excited. CPAC gave me a little hope that maybe the Trump tater's not dead and that we can bring the fun character back to life. But it was great. President Trump is going to still be out there fighting for conservative causes. Yes. And anyway, the team together is going to be able to pull. We have to have black conservatives out speaking on issues that I can't always speak on. Is that true?
That's true.
Because if I speak on it, it has no credibility. So I need Pastor Jesse. I need Carice Thomas. I need James Sullivan. And we need all these people to be able to fight against principles of Black Lives Matter. Not that we are against the concept, because we all believe Black Lives Matter, but against the organization. To fight against Antifa, to fight against critical race theory being taught in our schools, because it's detrimental to everyone. It's just not a positive thing to anyone. So, and we need gay conservatives. So there's oftentimes some very nasty things that get said, you know, when Lady MAGA's out there. And is that true?
You know what, Lady MAGA USA, that's my creative side of politics, but 99.9% of the time, conservatives, Lady MAGA USA is a character, it's a costume. I dress in a dignified way, you know, and I don't push an LGBT agenda. It's just a fun way of waking people up. And I do it to let other LGBT people out there know that you can still be yourself. You can still be fabulous. You can still have a good time. There are other communities out there where you will actually feel more at home and more welcome because you don't have to bite your tongue when people are talking about communism and socialism and transgender procedures being pushed on children. So I love what you said. We are all Americans together, and we have to have the diverse points of view, but the beauty is the Make America Great Again movement is what brought us together. And I'm excited to see what President Trump does going forward, but he once said, they're not after me, they're after you. And I think his primary goal was to activate all the patriots to find one another, and that's what we've done.
And so I think, I'm glad you brought that up, because that is why we're together, is kind of moving the mission forward, is making our country great again. And one of the things in making America great again, a lot of people don't understand, is that when America's great, we can lift up others. We lift up other nations, and when America's not doing good, other nations suffer. So it's not a selfish motivation. It's just like taking care of, Dr. Marcy, I'm going to let you address this. If you don't take care of yourself, can you take care of others?
It's very difficult to do that. You can do it for about this much, and then there's nothing left in the cup to offer, right?
Yeah.
You can do it for just a minute, but if you're not refilling your own cup, there's nothing to offer other people.
So that's physically, spiritually, emotionally. You have to take care of yourself so you can have something to offer other people. And it's the same with the country, is that if we don't take care of our country first, we don't have anything left to give to other countries. So anyway, Dr. Marcy on Wednesdays.
Correct, 10 to 11.
And again, it's going to range from all kinds of things, but definitely right now, more than ever, we need good mental health strategies, good coping skills to make it through this incredible, unique time that we're going through.
Well, there's that aspect, but I also am a big believer that in order to realize coping mechanisms, we have to know the truth. And right now, so many people are confused about truth. And so I just want to help people see new perspectives of ways that they couldn't see things previously. So I like truth.
Awesome. And then every other Thursday, Ignacio. Yeah. It's going to be on one Thursday, and Ryan's going to be on the next. Going to split that up. And then Bob is every Friday. So if you want to know what legislation's out in Utah, what you should be paying attention to, not just on a statewide basis, but you keep up with county issues too, right?
County issues and what really happened with the vote. When our GOP people went down to Nevada to investigate what was there voter fraud, well, listen, 10 to 11, I can tell you.
Awesome. And Pastor Jesse and I, and one of my passions that I've mentioned on the program multiple times, but for those of you who don't know, has been outreach to Black Americans, because right now, Black Americans vote 90% Democrat, 10% Republican. And what that allows the media to do is frame everything about race, and we can't ever find real solutions to the problems that we're facing. And so that outreach is just incredible. I mean, to me, it's the biggest, most important thing the Republican Party can do, because I really, truly believe, Pastor Jesse, that Black conservatives will be the ones who save America right now. And getting out there and changing this political dynamic that we've been in that allows everything to be framed about race.
Well, and I think that we've seen that in the phrase "leaving the plantation." Never before have we ever seen a mass exodus from the Democratic Party as we have seen this last election, and that's something that's going to continue. So I think that we're going to have Black Americans continuing to leave that Democratic Party in droves. And we're going to see the impact of being able to stand up for good conservative values. I'm excited about that, and I am looking forward to this ongoing phenomenon.
Awesome. So Pastor Jesse will be a regular on my days, which is Monday and Tuesday, Oh, Monday and Tuesday. Okay. I've kind of limited my days down. So Pastor Jesse and also, no, you won't know tomorrow because this is not going to be out there, but LaTroy Woods is another guest host that will be on a regular basis, James Sullivan. And so we're going to be addressing all the issues that we're facing in our state and in our nation. So I guess we can all say, Good Morning America says Good Morning America, so let's end ours with
God bless America.
No, the path forward, Utah. The path forward, Utah.
I'm a spud with a plan. Our America gets greater day by day. I ain't your average quitter. I don't put up